Hello and welcome to this week's Become Unstoppable series. And as usual, I have a lovely, amazing guest for you who I'm going to bring on for you. I'll just focus for a moment and then I will talk to you all. My guest today is a lovely lady called Oana. Now, she is a musician, but she's also a teacher of music too. She's a really lovely lady, and hopefully she's going to appear. We've got some people already joining us, so thank you everyone for joining us. Oops, nearly cut everyone off then. Schoolgirl error. So welcome, my darling. Welcome to my Becoming Unstoppable series.
Thank you for
having me. Very exciting. So before we start, would you like to do a quick introduction, my darling, and let everyone know who you are and what it is you do?
Yes. So my name is Oana Gadalean, and I'm teaching music at the moment. I'm also a musician, a professional musician, and performing. So at the moment, my main activity is more focused on teaching, but I'm slowly coming back with a lot more force to play. So yeah,
brilliant, amazing. And I'm really looking forward to finding out a little bit about you as well. I mean, we do know each other from our business coaching, so we're all very keen on investing in ourselves. And obviously we've had brief conversations, but not in any massive great detail. So I'm looking forward to finding out some more about you today. But before we do that, my lovely, as you know, I'm going to ask you my very famous question of what does being unstoppable mean to you?
Wow, yes, that's a big question. We could talk about it a lot. Well, for me, really is when you really want to know what you want to achieve, and especially if you sort of like go with your gut, and your gut feeling is telling you that that's you're meant to do. It's just really overcoming the obstacles and all the situations where you feel when you feel put down or pushed away, and just keep pushing and find a way to go up and always forward. It's not easy. It's not easy, but I think it's worthwhile, that's for sure.
Yeah. So I think really it's about that resilience, isn't it? That sometimes we go through life and we get knocked down, and it's about getting up again and coming back even stronger because we've learned from what's happened in the past, and that gives us that extra determination, doesn't it?
That's correct, yes.
So do you want to just give us a brief overview then of, you know, where you, I mean, we kind of know briefly where you are now, but just a little bit of backstory as to how you ended up being where you are right now, really, if you want to, just whatever feels comfortable for you to share. That'd be
sure.
Great.
Okay, so to start with, I guess would be a good insight for people to know, you know, where I'm coming from, when I started, where I started. So I was born in Romania. I did go to school there. I graduated music high school and music academy in Cluj-Napoca. I graduated the music performance on viola. And I left Romania in 2011, yeah, quite a while ago. So when I came to UK, I tried to find my way in the music world. And in 2016, officially 2017, I started teaching. And I'm teaching now violin, viola, and piano, a little bit of piano. Just to a little mention, the piano, it was my second instrument, so my main is the strings. And I'm also performing, as I said, I'm playing with an orchestra, which I'm really, really pleased to collaborate with Audentier Symphony Orchestra in Watford. And I'm trying to put, again, a string quartet together, which I'm really excited about it because I was missing it so much.
Oh, wow. So, I mean, I have not got one single musical bone in my body. I can't sing. I do remember at school trying instruments. I tried the clarinet and I tried the flute.
But at least you tried.
I don't know how well I tried. So yeah, I don't believe I've got any musical talent, but who knows? Maybe I just haven't discovered it yet. But would you say that you've always had music flowing through your blood? Was it something you've always loved?
Yes, because to be honest, whatever I've done also along the years, especially since I left Romania, whatever I done, I was keep gravitating towards music. And I was like, you know, music is my first love. Maybe I'm not as talented as others, but it's just flows through my veins. I just can't get away from it. Simple as that. And it brings me joy, and I want to take it further. And that's one of the reasons for which I also started teaching. Though I never thought I'm going to have the patience to do that, but there you go, you discover yourself every day. Yeah. And now more than that, I have this project in mind which I want to do, and I've sort of started to work towards it with small steps, baby steps, to open a school, which is a big project. So it's something which I can't really do on my own. I'm really hoping to find people who would be interested to join the venture and to have similar aspirations, and to do something beautiful together and offers a good quality education to the children, and why not even adults, but especially children, because it's important for them to start from early age if they want to become professionals. Wow. So yeah, it's quite an ambitious project, let's put it this way.
Yeah, sounds it. So how old was you when you first played an instrument then?
Well, actually, it was my initiative. When I started, I was 10 years old. I had the option to start earlier on the first grade, but I wanted piano. I didn't have a piano at home, and you were supposed to have a piano at home to practice. We couldn't have a piano. Anyway, so that was put to sleep. And at the end of the second grade, our choir teacher, she said, well, look, if you want to, by the way, I was attending a general education school. And we had also a choir lesson. I think it was once a week or something like that. And she came to us and she told us, if anyone is interested to learn to play an instrument, you can start with the next school year. But you can choose only between viola and cello. So in order to start violin or piano, I had to start on the first grade, which I missed. I missed the train. So the only options I had, it was viola and cello. And of course, at that age, 10 years old, I was like, oh, cello is too big. It sounds too low, you know, from the eyes of a child, you know. And cello is an absolutely beautiful, beautiful instrument. I love it. So I started with viola, and I was lucky enough to have a very kind teacher. First of all, he's absolutely amazing person, and because of him, I continued with music, because he sort of inspired me to, or gave me that confidence that I have a potential to go further and accomplish more. So thanks to him, I continued with music high school, and further with music academy, and here I am.
Oh, amazing! That's actually really a good point, because sometimes we do need that person. It could be the favourite teacher, can't it? Yeah. It could be that mentor. It can be, that person that made such a difference to your life. Some people always, go, oh, I remember so-and-so teacher, because without them I don't think I'd be doing what I would do today. So would you say that he was one of those characters in your life that maybe without him having that confidence in you and pushing you forward, that you may not have actually carried on?
I truly believe so. And to be honest, I'm really, really happy to actually say this, that in the past 2 years, I think, since I'm going home, we pretty much meet every time, and we go for a cup of tea. Oh, and he's waiting for me to go back in October, and we go out for a tea and a little chat. And it's been many, so we know each other really. He put the instrument in my hands, and that was back in, that was back in 1988. So
amazing.
Now we meet for a chat and a cup of tea every time I'm going home.
So he's always interested then in what you're doing and how well you're getting on.
Oh yes, yeah, and you know what? Also, when I have any questions, or if I want his opinion about a student, I'm just sending him a recording and he's getting back to me with a feedback.
Nice,
Yes.
nice. So
Yeah.
you've got a bit of backup.
It's a bit
Yeah. Yeah, because it can be very lonely being an entrepreneur, can't it? I mean, this is the first time I've ever been a business owner since I left the corporate world last year. And that's why business coaching is so important for us. But I also carry on with all my therapy training as well. I'm always learning because, because I want to. I think when we're younger, sometimes we don't always want to, and that can be the big difference between learning something and not learning something. But you obviously felt different with the music because you loved the music and you always wanted to learn it. But I never really found anything that I was that passionate about, really, I suppose. I've always kind of liked lots of different things, but if someone said to me, oh, who's your favourite pop star, or what music do you, I'll just go, oh, I kind of like lots of things, you know. I never really put myself out there and went, this is it, this is what I love, until I started doing this, which I absolutely love. So those who don't know me, I normally introduce myself at the beginning, but I just remembered I didn't do it, so I'm going to do it now. So I'm Julia Fitzpatrick. I'm the founder of Milliside Therapy and Coaching, and my main passion is supporting individuals, but particularly business owners, entrepreneurs and professionals, to unlock the power of their imagination. And once we unlock the power of their imagination, they can basically live their life with purpose and passion and become unstoppable. So this is where my Become Unstoppable thing comes from. So I've been on a huge journey myself, and I know from conversations we've had that your journey has been quite tricky in terms of following your dreams of your music. What was that like when you was growing up, when you really had that passion for music?
Well, for everyone, you have to get over the beginner stage in order to everything fall into place and to start playing and enjoying and hearing yourself playing. So it's quite a tricky stage or period of time which everyone has to go over. So that's something which I really advocate to parents and new students, that they have to have the patience to get over it. And it's a patience game in the end. So it's just because I had that drive, I just felt that my heart is in there, and the satisfactions you're getting out of playing and being on the stage, you can't get them from anywhere else. There's no like similarity. I mean, from my point of view anyway. And I remember some of the experiences I had playing, even just in an orchestra, not necessarily as a soloist. You can achieve these emotions, not necessarily just being yourself on a stage. You can be with another bunch of people, and it could be also so much fun. And I have really nice memories and collaborations with other musicians, and it's been a really interesting journey, but yes, with challenges. And to start with the school, so when I had to change the schools from secondary school to go to music high school, my mom, as much as I love her, she's tried to stop me to continue with music high school. She said it was the last school I could have went to or choose from. Obviously, like probably many parents, she was dreaming of me becoming a lawyer or a doctor, God knows.
And that's what it was.
Yeah, well, at that time, IT, it wasn't really much in the picture. So yeah, between these two. And of course, I've done what I want. What I wanted. I still went to the music high school. And then I went, when the time came to go from music high school to, university, she tried to convince me not to go to the music academy. Of course, that didn't work again, though it almost did. So I went to my teacher in music high school, and I told him that, I'm not going to go at the music academy. I will take another path. But like 2 weeks later, 2.5 weeks later, I went back to him and I said, no, I'm going to the music academy. I don't care. Whatever I can do after music academy, and to offer an alternative to music, which is wise to do, really, to have also a backup. So yeah, I really followed my dream because my heart was there. So,
And
yeah.
how did your mum take that then when you know, for want of a better phrase,
You know what? I can't say she was very supportive or to tell me, words of praise. On the contrary, she was like, oh, you're not that talented, you're just working hard, you know. But I know. Otherwise, she was very supportive in other ways.
Breaking down.
Mom, I love you, but unfortunately, this is how it was. No, other people actually told me. So after I went to the music academy and I joined a professional orchestra, I was going on tours, and I was hearing from other people how proud she was of me, of doing what I was doing.
Yeah.
But
actually,
she would. Yes.
Actually, sorry to interrupt. Actually, it's not really her fault anyway, because she was looking out for you, right? She was saying it out of love.
Yes, of course.
You know, she didn't understand. And back in the day, and I don't know what it was like in Romania, but even when I was growing up, it was very. I'm a bit older than you, but it was very. You know, these are the job roles, and you had to kind of fit into that.
Yeah.
You know, that box, didn't you? And to actually say, actually, I don't really want to be in that box. I want to go and do something else. That's like really scary. And for your, your mum and your family and all that, that would have been, fear would have just hit them, wouldn't it? Because, oh my God, because it was unfamiliar to them. And they were only going back on beliefs as well that they would have created when they, that they've inherited and created themselves, that's not a proper job. You're never going to make money out of it.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Actually, it is a hard business to be in, isn't it? It's very tough, I would imagine, and difficult. But how amazing to actually do a job that is your passion. Not many people get that opportunity to do that, do they? So, take my hat off to you, because you obviously moved away from a country as well to come here. Well, I think you said you went to Guernsey first, didn't you? But you left your hometown to actually go and live abroad, and that in itself is huge, isn't it? Tell us a little bit about how that came about and what that was like for you.
Yes. Well, I don't have anyone here. I don't have any family here. I had to really literally start from scratch when I came to England, even getting to know people. And it's been hard because the music scene here is slightly different than in my country or Eastern Europe. I was working with a professional orchestra there. I could have been there for the rest of my life, and because that's what I wanted to do. But I think I just wanted more. I wanted to be in a more international environment, to explore new horizons, and just taking a leap of faith that I can achieve more. But yeah, there are times that there's up and downs, and coming here on my own, it's been really challenging. I had to do also different jobs to pay the bills, especially since I came to London. And it's been quite a difficult transition to actually leave those odd jobs so I can focus on what I want to do.
Yeah.
And this came with about a year or so before I joined the business coaching. I had this seed in my mind with the school for quite a while, and then I felt like I got to a point where I'm just teaching at home and that's it. I can't really move forward. So I thought, I really need some help in some way, and the only way I can help myself or to get help is to help myself. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
It's to help myself.
And that's a huge decision to take, isn't it? And I feel your pain in this completely. So for me, I'd worked in the corporate world, and then last year, I've been working towards building my business.
Yeah.
I've been in the business coaching for a couple of years, and I was doing all my training to re-enhance my skills, because I am a trained counsellor from way back when, but I hadn't done it for a long time. So I've really, completely retrained, but I can't even begin, and I don't even want to to know in my own head how much money I've invested in myself in personal therapy and doing that. So training to be a therapist and doing all that, you have to go through a lot of it anyway. But I continue, as I said at the beginning, to invest in carrying on with the therapy. I could have stopped it ages ago, but they're teaching me how to embody and be who I want to be. But at the same time, all the skills that they're teaching me, I can then pass on to my clients. So I love that element of it. And I don't even want to think about how much money I've invested. However, if I hadn't have done, I certainly wouldn't be sitting here talking to you right now. I probably would still be in the corporate world, in all honesty, because I wouldn't have been brave enough to have taken that leap of faith, because I wouldn't have worked on myself to know I can do that. And doing the business training, it helps us, doesn't it? It gives us that idea.
It's totally different game board, if I may say so. So, because that's quite well known, and probably it's even more often mentioned, is that these days really the school doesn't really teach you to be an entrepreneur.
No.
It's teaching you more to be an employee. And it's really a matter of taking a leap of faith and to know your potential, your limits, and also to have a dream, because without a dream you don't have a direction.
No, and that is key, the direction, isn't it? Because otherwise you're just paddling away in the pool, aren't you? You don't know what direction to go in, and it's about having that understanding, having that clarity, but it's also about being with like-minded people as well, isn't it? Like being in the community, which you'll be in different music communities in the same way I've got lots of therapy communities, but obviously we've both got the business community, which is great, because I don't even know how I started doing these Instagram lives, but now, like yourself, it's like I'm going through the people going, who wants to come on, isn't it? Because it's about me giving you all an opportunity to put yourselves out there and to be visible, and for me to put myself out there and be visible, because now I've got a YouTube channel, so all these are going to go on there as well. Middleside Therapy and Coaching YouTube, a little bit of a plug there, but and I don't know about you, but I sometimes look back at what I've been doing and I kind of laugh, because I just think, oh my word, where has this person come from? Because if I was to go back a couple of years, there's no way I would even dreamt about being an entrepreneur. No way I would be doing I didn't really have social media before, only like your usual, like LinkedIn for jobs and a personal Facebook, which I put a few family photos on or something, but that was about it. To actually, all of a sudden, you've got to be a salesperson, you've got to be a social media expert, you've got to be able to stand up and talk, and do interviews and stuff like that. And actually, it literally is a whole new world, isn't it? When you've gone from like that employed mindset to, oh my God, I'm an entrepreneur.
I guess, depends on each personality. I think I had this in myself for a long time, and I've been told by other people, colleagues and at work, that I have a bit of a bossy attitude, not necessarily attitude.
Not bossy, it's assertive. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so I'm taking initiative. I'm a problem solver, not so for me there's no problems, there's only solutions. Taking the time to sort out whatever needs to be sorted. I'm detail orientated. When I start something, I like to finish and things like this. And I think I have a bit of sort of a leadership qualities. And I'm not saying this just to praise myself, but
But you do have to praise yourself, actually interjecting there, right? Hold your thought though, because I want to come back to that. But that's where we all fall down, actually, because giving ourselves praise and tapping us on the back, that gives us that dopamine here, and we don't do enough of that. And I teach that to my clients now. It's about praising ourselves, because that's really important.
Acknowledging in the end. Yeah, to acknowledge in the end what you're capable of, and to use your skills and abilities. Why not?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you've got students that you're teaching, right?
Yeah.
You would obviously have different people that are different levels, right? But you might have someone who's brand new to, I don't know, learning the piano or something like that, right? How do you what sort of approach do you go for? Is it the same for everybody, or do you teach people in a different way? Do you kind of have to study them and go, I think I'm going to need to use this approach for this person?
Well, yeah, that's lots of personality. So as a teacher, honestly, you have to be, especially let's say for kids, you have to be a psychologist, you have to be a friend, you have to be a teacher, of course, you have to be a parent, you have to be uh, um, playmates, let's say, you know, they like to play as well.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to join because, you know, it's meant to be fun as well. And I try to integrate that with them, though sometimes I have parents who tell to students, oh, don't do that, or stay on your chair, don't move, don't stand up. Just let them be, let me work with them and to use what they do in our advantage. So yeah, and plus, you know, when they're 4, 5, 6 years old, you can't expect them to stay like a soldier.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
And the same way, you've got older people you probably can't expect to stay focused for longer than 5 minutes either.
Trust me, first of all, kids or adults, age is not relevant. Age is not relevant. You can't, you know, because you have these groups of children between, I don't know, 4 and 6 or 5 and 7, and adults, you expect that they are not some, but majority, you expect that they will understand quicker just because they're adults. It doesn't work like that.
Well, I bet it doesn't.
Really doesn't. Some of them, they do catch it quick, some they don't. And we take the time. Same with the kids. And yeah, I have to apply different strategies according to the stage where we are, their personality. I have to mold myself after each individual, and it's not easy because, you know, they come to you, they expect you to be understanding, but then you have like 4, 5, 6, 10 students in a day, and you're supposed to adapt yourself to 10 different personalities in one day.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
But like you say, what I like about what you said though is that you don't try and put everybody in the same box. You know, you don't have one process and they all have to fit into it. It's molded around their personalities. And I just want to bring into this at the moment. A couple of weeks ago, I had an amazing guest called Darren, who you introduced me. Now, for those who haven't watched the interview, go on my YouTube channel and have a look. So Darren's story is just phenomenal about how he had an accident, like almost died when he was about 18 months old. And it turned out that a third of his brain had died, hadn't it? But through reprogramming and learning, he's pretty much regrown most of it. It's an amazing story. But how did you come about teaching him, and how difficult or easy or how different, I suppose, was it to teach someone who you knew had a brain injury?
Well, that's definitely something, it was something new for me. We met at the networking event for small businesses in the area. And when he came first time, it was a matter of introducing each other's businesses. And when he said his story, I said, look, this is what I'm doing. I think I might be able to help you a little bit in recovering and training your brain, because scientifically has been proved that learning to play an instrument engages both brain hemispheres. Yeah, you didn't know.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's one of the fewest, I'm not sure if the only, but if not the only, the fewest activities which we do in our lives which engages both brain hemispheres to work in the same time. There's a lot of multitasking. You know, thinking and also using your hands in the same time, and it's all a matter of milliseconds to react. And yeah, it's a lot to take in.
Wow.
So we agreed to have our little project, if I may say so, to see, you know, like a case study as well, and to see how he responds, how what we do is affecting his thinking and and also the motricity, because he has a bit of a problem with the hands being stiff, about controlling his hands, especially the right one. And in the past, so we started to work about maybe about 2 months ago, something not more than 3 months, I would say. So in the past 2-3 lessons, he started to loosen up a little bit, and he's a bit more flexible now in his hand, and he's actually enjoying it even more, because he went through some fundamentals and he has more understanding. So he definitely he said that he's enjoying a lot more. In conjunction with what we do, he's also taking now some sessions of reflexology, also with a gentleman who is in the same networking group with us. So we make now a team of 3 to bring him to a stage where he's feeling comfortable also to use his hands and to move, and also to enjoy to play music. Last lesson we played 2 hands together for the first time. So
yeah. He is, if there's a definition of unstoppable, he's definitely on that.
He's very, very determined, and I tell you what, because he had this brain injury, I was slightly a bit worried at the beginning. I actually didn't tell you. I'm sorry, Darren. I thought it would be a bit more difficult for him to understand what we are doing just because of the brain injury, but surprisingly, no. Yeah. Okay. So he sort of like has somewhat of a short-term memory, not in everything, but my God, he does have a lot of understanding and determination, and that's unbeatable. And it's so inspirational, and really we have no excuses not to do what we want.
Absolutely. And I like, when we had the interview with him, it was like he's now doing public speaking, isn't he, to go out and share his story, because especially in schools, because it's really important, I think, that youngsters, but anyone of any age really, doesn't get caught up in that my mindset's stuck, I can't change, because that's completely wrong. You can change any time. Okay, you might need help to do that, but we can make real simple changes in our lives without anyone else helping us. I mean, funny enough, last week I was presenting at a networking group, and the theme I chose, the power of your imagination. And it went down so well, because if you think about it, well, it's fact actually that our imagination is the most powerful tool we have. But when we suffer from fears, anxiety, stress and overwhelm, and all that good stuff, that's all fear-based, and we correct that in our imagination, because we're imagining that something terrible is going to happen, and and our body reacts to it, but actually your body's pretty much reacting to something that went on years ago. And that's what I do. I go back in the subconscious mind and find the root cause, and we eradicate it, and we replace it, and then we put new neural pathways in with recordings so where they might have had the belief good enough or something, we go, you're amazing, you're phenomenal, and a lot more. But the repetition of learning something new, the more we do it, the more they know it, right? So anyone can visualize or imagine. And I imagine that when you're teaching, that's what you could you tell them too, isn't it? Just imagine yourself playing it, visualize yourself on that
page. I work a lot with images, so I always associate something we do with all sorts of situations or pictures, just for them to imagine. Definitely, it's so important, because even when you play, so for example, when you play a piece, okay, and it's supposed to give you some sort of emotion to it, you have to, usually it helps if you think of a situation which triggers that emotion. So when that emotion is triggered through the images, then it's easier to actually put that energy into your hands to bring out through music that emotion. It's amazing. That's why you have to feel the music. And I always say,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and well, I've never really studied it at all, really. But when I've seen it on films or whatever, it's always like they say to close your eyes, don't they?
Yes.
And then they play.
Oh,
It's
I do
about
that.
feeling it. Do you get them to close your
Well,
eyes?
even with
Yeah.
Darren, I told him, close your eyes and just feel your hand and talk to your hand,
Mm.
literally. And also other students who are focusing on looking at the strings, I said, close your eyes, try to feel and listen. Yeah, simple.
It's incredible, isn't it? The mind. I mean, they don't really understand even now, do they? A lot of what goes on with it, because even Darren, they like, oh my god, that was a bit unexpected. I mean, now they have a bit more technology, don't they, to visually
Yeah.
see things, but I don't really understand completely. And that's what I've learned doing all my retraining. Actually, is that the power of the mind, right? Because just as a little fun fact, really, but the brain is the most powerful tool we have, right? But its only job is to keep us safe. Excuse me, I'm going to
Yeah.
cough. Hold the line, callers, hold the line. So what it does is it will do whatever it can do to keep you safe. So, you know, like when we go, oh, part of me feels like I shouldn't go to that event, but part of me wants to go. We use the word parts, don't we? We talk about parts of us, right? But what happens is if your brain thinks you're going to be in trouble, it will do something to intervene. And I'll give you an example, right? So using you as an example, right? So say you went, oh my God, I've got to perform in that orchestra next week. I'm just going to die. I'm going to die in front of everybody if I go there, right? So your brain will be going, oh, hang on, I can't let that happen
No.
because my job is to protect her. So what I need to do is make something happen so she can't go, right? So the day of that orchestra, you know, whatever it is you're doing, you'll come down with illness or a migraine or something so that you can't go. So your brain goes, I did well there. I saved her life. Get me. Woohoo!
Well, we definitely sabotage ourselves big time.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to work also with my students. And I tell them, look, don't think, what if you do a mistake? Think, what if I don't do a mistake? And if you do, so what? Just move on. Because in the end, the performance is not just down to a note you played wrong, yeah, or a stumble. It's the overall and the feelings you manage to project to your audience. Yeah, and
yeah, absolutely.
I was wanted to say about listening and closing eyes. Our sight is taking over our senses. Once you close your eyes, you can feel and hear more.
Yeah, that's very true, actually.
And
yeah.
And also another thing, especially when it comes about learning new things with which you do with your body, like you said, because the brain is not used to do whatever you learn new. We tend to tense. Once you do it a few times and the brain or the body recognize that that movement starts to relax, and that's when the good or correct position or movement comes in.
It's definitely practice and practice and practice, isn't it?
Oh,
right? Because if you think about it, when you was a child and you had to learn to tie a shoelace, it was really complicated, wasn't it? It was like, oh, but you practice and practice and practice it, and eventually you do it without even looking. Same with driving a car.
Oh, yeah.
In the beginning, you're like, oh my God, how am I going to remember the gears? I've got to look around the mirror. You know, you want to look at your gear stick. I can remember when I learned to drive it, when he went, now don't look at the gear stick. And I was like, what do you mean? I've got to look at the gear stick. But,
yeah, it's about the tension you feel at the beginning, which is natural. And, people saying, oh, I can't do this. I said, yeah, you can just take it easy, step by step, do it over and over and over again. And the more you do it, the more you start to relax.
Brain learns by repetition, right?
Yeah.
So the more you do it, the more it becomes.
And they say the repetition is the mother of learning.
Exactly. And yeah, exactly. And it's when you give up, that's when it's not going to happen. So you do have to be consistent, and which you've had to prove that you could have given up when your mum said, you're not going to do it. You could have just gone, yeah, all right. But in your heart of hearts, you listen to your heart, you listen to your intuition, and you push through. But that isn't always easy to do, is it? And not everyone can do that. But if people are in a situation in life that you really, really want something, it is actually your life. It's, you get one crack at it, don't you? So within reason, obviously, you need to put your foot down sometimes and do what you want to do. And I don't mean like when you're a child, you want to go out and not come home because you're just putting your foot down. I'm talking about real things that, you know, are going to really be part of your life, and so that you can live your dreams and you can become unstoppable.
Yeah. And you know what, it was quite emotional, I would say, when my uncle, because he was a bit, you know, resting in peace, and I loved him very much. But at the time when I was supposed to change from the secondary school to music high school, he was also one of the people who probably my mom asked him to talk to me. And we had like a 3 hours conversation trying to convince me not to continue with the music academy. And at the end, yes, and at the end, I'm not gonna go through everything what happened after. It wasn't a smooth journey, neither after I got in the music academy. And I always had to prove myself that I deserve to be there. And I've been sort of like looked down by so many. Yeah, it's been a difficult time. Sorry.
But yeah, that's okay.
But at the end of the music, at the end when I graduated, my uncle, the same person, came to me and he said how proud he was of me, and he apologized for trying to stop me to follow my path.
Oh, bless you! You make me cry in a minute. Yeah. So basically, in a nutshell, my darling, you are truly unstoppable, aren't you? In all walks of your life, and you need to give yourself a pat on the back and go back and look at what you've achieved and what you're going to achieve, because someone who's got the drive and the determination that you've got, you will succeed. And if you want to have your music academy, your music school, then you will have it. And because you've invested in yourself and you continue to invest in yourself, why can't you have what you want? And you know that you've got massive skills there. You're a lovely lady. You've got lots of clients. You can do anything you set your mind to. And you just need to visualize that school and see what it feels like and looks like. And why not? Why can't you have it?
Yeah, exactly. So there's nothing to stop me other than me. But, you know, I was lingering in the past 2 years. And since I joined I was looking for coaching. I was looking for what I have now, you know, in this group of people. And to be honest, I'm so happy I took this opportunity to be part of this coaching, business coaching program. And I would recommend to everyone, guys, don't fight on your own.
No.
Go and get someone who knows what needs to be done and to guide you and to support you, and the community which we have. It's just amazing.
Yes.
And I'm so happy that I took this opportunity, even if it's not easy, but it's worthwhile, and hopefully it's going to pay off a bit later on, because obviously it's a long journey. It's not going to happen from one day to another.
No.
But in the meantime, I'm going to stick with my teaching. So anyone who wants to to join my team and to work together and do some really nice things together, regardless if if they want to go for the exams or just to play for fun. I have children from 4.5 years old, and he's my youngest now, up to over 50. Yeah, so I had at some point a German 76 years old. He was playing for some time, but he wanted to improve. But I have beginners over 50. It's never too late to start to pick up an instrument for yourself, and it's going to serve you until the last day of your life. And I can't stress enough how important it is to have this skill, to actually use them when you are in your 70s, 80s, 90s, and to keep your brain trained. And not just to keep it trained, but you actually enjoy yourself making some music.
Exactly.
It's an amazing skill. It's
I love that.
It's not debatable.
Yeah. And whereabouts are you based if people want to do face-to-face with you?
I'm in North London, and because it's in Enfield, and because it's mostly one-to-one and face-to-face, it's a bit difficult for many people to come here, which I understand that. I can do online as well, but online it's slightly a bit less efficient because it's a bit of a hands-on job. So we still can do it, especially if you have already some foundation put on, and music theory is not a problem. We can also work it online, but as a beginner, it's very important for me to have my hands on you. So and you to have your hands on mine too, because when I'm showing, you have to put your hands to feel what I'm doing. But it's not impossible. Over lockdown, I had to work online, and it wasn't impossible. And these days, many people, they do lessons online, but let's face it, it's not as efficient as working one-to-one.
I mean, I'm the same. I can do all mine online. I can do all my hypnotherapy and everything online as well, and it works absolutely fine. But I also do it face-to-face if they're local, so it is nice sometimes. But I do find that takes a lot longer because you get caught up in a lot more conversation, and well, it's probably my fault really, but get distracted. But anyway, my lovely, thank you so much.
Just wanted to say, if anyone
get to do the bit that you've done, so you've done it already, so that's perfect.
Yeah.
So anyone who's interested in working with you, obviously they can see your Instagram account.
Yeah, just wanted to say about that. Yeah.
And
so it's Oana Gadalean musician on Instagram, and on Facebook it's Oana Gadalean music tuition. I have my website, and by the way, all the students are booking their lessons on the website. I have also a YouTube channel, but I need to make the time to do a bit more with that. As we know, the time, it's always a bit of a problem with the social media and marketing. Whereas LinkedIn, so even today I had a really, may I say?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So even today I had a really nice surprise from LinkedIn. The general manager of a big store here in our area contacted me to play for their event. They are celebrating 120 years of since they are open. So that actually is due to networking, because I've been to a networking event where I had a photo with the mayor of Enfield, and it's all about connections and relations to be seen. Exactly. So don't stay hidden, people. Go out, put yourself out. Exactly. So people, they hear about you, that they see you, they know who you are and what you do, and things will start falling into place. Because I hear a lot of music teachers complaining about, they can't get students, they can't do that, they are feeling too lonely, being in private and not interacting so much with other teachers. Get out.
Exactly right. And fair play to you, because of your training as well, and the business coaching and all that, that's helped you do that. And I know for a fact that this is your first Instagram live, and
yes, it is.
You're not the only one. I've had many Instagram virgins on here, so I'm quite proud to say that broken a lot of virginities on Instagram on here. But which is ironic, given I didn't even know what Instagram was a couple of years ago, so that always makes me chuckle as well when people are coming on my channel. But it's been really lovely having you on here, my lovely, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope all the listeners.
Thank you for having me.
That's all right, and I hope everyone's enjoyed it. So I will put this video out on Instagram on my channel, but also I will repurpose it onto Milliside Therapy and Coaching YouTube channel as well. And I'm on all the others as well: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram as well, obviously. So if anyone's interested in working with me, what I do is fairly unique. I get to the root cause of your issue, and sometimes in just one package, which could only take a month. So I've had many clients who have worked with me and have basically become unstoppable in a month. So if it's of interest to you, then please reach out. If you go to my Instagram, you'll see some videos, but also if you go to my YouTube channel, that's where I hold all my interviews like these. But I also have a lot of clients that have come on and done these interview series, so they're on there, and also some short interviews. Sorry, not short interviews, short testimonials. So if you just want to cut to the chase in a minute or so, then they're there too. So everything you need's on there. So go and check me out and book a call with me and find out how I
Then,
can help.
and I, sorry to interrupt you, but I don't want to miss the opportunity to say how amazing you are.
Oh,
And for everything, because I didn't want you to, close and go out. I just want to say publicly how amazing you are and everything you've done since I know you. And also offering this opportunity to so many people to come out and talk about themselves, about things which actually bring us together, and how much good you've done to so many.
oh.
And I really wish you, to accomplish your dream and to help as many people as you want, as many as you can. So yes, thank you so much for having me today.
Well, that's really lovely. You'll have me in tears again in a minute, but I made a bit of a schoolgirl error tonight as well, because I forgot that it gets dark quick, doesn't it? Then I'm not sitting here, I'm putting my light on even more. So I hope everyone can see.
You are unstoppable too.
I was sitting there thinking, I can't get up and turn the light on. But yeah, it's been amazing, and I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks' time at our next event. And yeah, hope everyone enjoyed it. So
I feel privileged to have met you, honestly. So thank you.
Darling, take care, and I'll see you all next week with my next guest. See you later.
Thank you,
Bye.
Julie. Bye.